Hello, my friends. Surprise! It's been a while since we had a little time alone together, and I just was inspired to do a special episode of the podcast. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this episode is about my month of sugar free ish. And I'll explain when I get into it what I mean by sugar free ish and how it went. So, I hope you're doing great. I hope you've been enjoying all the amazing people I've been talking to, and you can probably expect to see a little more of me popping in to say hello, just you and me, one on one. I hope you're having a super day. Take care. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. Well, let me tell you, I spent the month of October sugar free ish. And I say ish in quotation marks because, well, first of all, I don't think that we should live in absolutes because I think if you live in absolutes, you set yourself up for failure. And what do I mean by this? So, like January 1st, when you say, I'm going to go to the gym every single day, or the implication of that is that if you don't go to the gym every single day, you fail. And then you feel bad about yourself and you label yourself as a failure. Or, when you're in your 20s and you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm never going to drink again. I mean, maybe you experienced that, maybe you didn't. But did it come true? Probably not for most people. And I remember in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when Charlie was supposed to have closed his chocolate factory forever. And the little boy says, I thought he said that he was going to close it forever, being an absolute. And his mother says, well, when grown-ups say forever, they just mean for a really long time. So what if instead of putting that absolute on yourself, you put the I will do my best every day to be XYZ, and you don't beat yourself up. But that's just an aside on my sugar-free-ish month to tell you why it's an ish. And it was an ish because I do enjoy the protein smoothies because for me, they're like drinking a chocolate milkshake. And we know that I love chocolate, but I use honey in my smoothies, and I decided that I decided, and it can be different. Everybody's got an argument whether honey is good or bad or sugar or not sugar, but I decided I was going to continue to have honey. And I still actually did drink wine during the month of October. And you can say, yes, wine has sugar in it. It definitely has sugar in it, but I didn't count that because it was my sugar-free-ish month and I got to make the decisions. And I was testing and experimenting with not eating processed sugars was really what I was after. And I learned a few things along the way. So one of the things I learned was sugar is in so many things that you wouldn't even think of. And if you read labels, if you take the time to read labels, you would be shocked. And I can remember that I did this a number of years ago, and I was shocked then. And then I must have tucked it away in the back of my mind because when I went to do it this time, I was shocked yet again. You can find sugar in potato chips. You can find sugar in sushi rice. Um, it's insane how much we have incorporated sugar into everything that we consume. And you can have an opinion whether it's caused the obesity epidemic and it's caused all of the problems that sugar is purported to cause in our bodies and in our health. But really, sugar in and of itself isn't bad. It's just the amount that we consume of it. now when I drink, because I don't really drink soda, I don't drink diet soda either because I don't like the taste of most natural sweeteners, and the unnatural sweeteners are just it's been proven to cause all sorts of problems. So I just don't drink soda. But now when I do occasionally drink a soda after having not had them for so long, they taste like syrup. There's so much sugar in them. And it's so I don't know how we could as a society shift away from having sugar included in so many things. And maybe it's just stopping buying all of these things. But the other problem that we have, segueing into part number 2, is how habitual it is. So as I was, having this sugar freedom month, I re- I noticed on a regular basis that I would just start to reach for something and not even think about it, just because it was a habit. I like to have, when I have a cup of tea, here's my cup of tea in one of my favorite mugs. If you're watching, Fiona, this is still my favorite mug. My friend Fiona made it. It's so habitual. When I have a cup of tea, I like to have a square of chocolate. So I would see myself going to where I store the chocolate thinking, wait a minute, I'm not having chocolate right now. Or, I open the fridge and there's something sweetened in the fridge, and I could see my hand reaching for it. And my brain is thinking, what are you doing? And I have to tell you that one day, it was near the end of the month, I was out for dinner with a friend, and we were chatting and having a good time and laughing, and we were having dinner, and somebody was having a birthday party. And a gentleman came over and he said, here's some birthday cake. And I didn't even think, wait a minute, I'm not eating sugar. I said, thank you very much. And I started eating the birthday cake, and I went, oh my goodness, I totally forgot I wasn't eating sugar because it's so normalized in my life anyway, just to enjoy. And I do enjoy it without guilt. And when the month is over, I am going to go back to eating chocolate with my tea, but I'm going to be mindful. So my learning with this one is, instead of just doing something out of habit, to making that decision, having that, it's taught me how to have a momentary pause before I go and take that thing. And yeah, it's not gonna work all the time. Remember, I'm not absolutes. When someone hands me a piece of birthday cake, I'm gonna probably eat it, and before I think, "Do I want this birthday cake?" But, um, practicing the pause before habitually just doing the thing that we want to make a conscious decision about. And the other thing that I learned about sugar, I was out at a friend's place for dinner, and it's the end of the month. In fact, it was just the other night because this is the end of the month. Today is the 30th of October as I'm recording this. And I thought, it's the end of the month. I'm going to have sugar tonight because they had Halloween candy because it's the end of October. And I had 3, possibly 4 pieces of candy. Oh my goodness, the headache that I had the next morning. And yes, I did have 1 G&T, but that's not unusual for me. I don't get a headache from that. But I think the sugar probably in the tonic also contributed to the sugar. I'm being totally honest with you here, my friends. The sugar was so awful. I said to Brad the next morning, because we got up to do our regular exercise routine, I said, I feel like I'm hungover. I feel terrible. And it was the sugar because I hadn't had any for a whole month. I think my system just said, Heather, what the heck did you just do to us? And that was my signal. That was my body's way to tell me they didn't like that. So I will take that lesson. Thank you, body, for giving me this wonderful lesson of feeling really, really awful for a day. And I will endeavor to be mindful and to choose rather than mindlessly eat sugar. And I invite you, when there's things you want to experiment on, just give yourself a chance to have fun and do an experiment. And when you approach it with the idea of curiosity of, I wonder what will happen if. I wonder how this will work. Then you don't have to be so mean to yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up about how things work. You don't have to beat yourself up if you accidentally eat a piece of birthday cake. It's life. We're here to learn things, not to be perfect, right? My friend, give it a go. What could go wrong? Maybe you'll get a headache. I don't know. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a fabulous day. Hey, you know me. If you want to have a conversation about sugar or anything in life in general, just give me a DM. I'd love to have a chat with you. Peace out, my friends. Have an amazing day. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Just give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.